Good morning. It is given that let px and qx be the two polynomials and suppose that fx equal to px cube plus x times qx cube. This is divisible by another polynomial x square plus x plus 1. Then we have to find that which of these options are correct. A part, px divisible by factor x minus 1 but qx not divisible by x minus 1. B part, qx divisible by x minus 1 but px not divisible by x minus 1. C part, both px and qx are divisible by x minus 1. Or fourth part, none of these is correct. So let's find out. Now as it is given to us that this fx is divisible by x square plus x plus 1, right? So we have the polynomial x square plus x plus 1, right? What are the factors for this polynomial? Yes, it is, we know that x minus omega into x minus omega square, right? So we can write this as x square plus x plus 1 is equal to x minus omega into x minus omega square. Now since fx is divisible by x square plus x plus 1, which means fx is divisible by x minus omega into x minus omega square, which means x minus omega is a factor of fx. Yes, and x minus omega square is also factor of fx. So we write x minus omega and x minus omega square are the factors of fx. And by the factor theorem, if x minus omega is a factor of fx, then f of omega is equal to 0. Similarly, if x minus omega square is a factor of fx, then f of omega square is also equal to 0. Right? Okay. So f omega equal to 0 means omega satisfies this fx. Right? So if x is equal to omega, then just putting the value of x equal to omega over here, we get f of omega is equal to p omega cube plus omega times q omega cube. Fine. And we know that omega cube is equal to 1. So from here we get p1 plus omega q1. Very fine. This is your f of omega. And second, when f of omega square equal to 0, which means omega square is satisfying this fx, right? So putting x equal to omega square again in this fx, we get f of omega square is equal to p of x cube plus x, that is omega square, q of x cube, omega square the power 3. So this is p of omega 6 plus omega square q of omega 6. Please note over here, omega 6 can be written as omega cube square and omega cube is 1. So this is 1 square, that is equal to 1. So this is p1 plus omega square q1. This is f of omega square. Please mark this equation as 1 and marking this as 2. So from 1 and 2 we get two equations. Because f of omega is 0, so this is 0, right? So we get p1 plus omega q1 equal to 0. And second equation, because f of omega square is 0, so from here we get p1 plus omega square q1 equal to 0. Solving these two, what we get? Let's subtract these two. We get omega minus omega square into q1 equal to 0. Omega minus omega square cannot be equal to 0. So from here we get q1 equal to 0. So q1 equal to 0 means 1 is satisfying qx polynomial. That is, x minus 1 is a factor of qx. So q1 equal to 0 implies x minus 1 is a factor of qx. So this implies qx is divisible by x minus 1, right? Now because q1 equal to 0, we get from another equation, so putting q1 equal to 0 over here, we get any of the two equations, we get p of 1 is equal to 0 then. So when p1 equal to 0, this implies x minus 1 is a factor of bifactor theorem. X minus 1 is a factor of px also, right? So this implies px is divisible by x minus 1. So from these two statements, we say that px and qx both are divisible by x minus 1. Hence, third option is correct.